Of course, you don't have to do what we did just with the circle of fifths progression. You could do the same thing with the descending 5/6 progression. So let's do that. Well, we already have three voices here. So we're not changing from four voices to three voices. But you should understand, just like we had when we were with three voices, we can sound more chord tones when we apply pattern than we do when we are just working with this homorythmic texture. So I want to do something essentially steal from myself. Whoops. And try to do the same thing. I want to take that same kind of pattern, this thing here, and apply that. So I have dee-da-ba-da-dum, diga-diga-dum, ba-ga-da-ga, like that. And, well, at least let's get this far, and then we'll realize that actually there are all sorts of problems that are going to pop up when we go from here to here, and I'll explain why. So that will be the upper voice. Bass voice, let's make it something simple, like just like that. Something like that. So bass I can already apply. And, well, we'll get that far. Now the inner voice, well, let's see, what do we have? Well, let's hold this one like we did before. And then this is only a third. One of the things I often do is look at the intervals between these things and think about, well, what can I do between that interval with, say, well, I want to have 4 notes. Okay, so I've decided I want 4 notes, and I'm going to put in my G here. So if I've got this and I need to go, I'm at this G and I want to go to the E, well, I only need 1 note as a passing tone to get there. So it means if I want 4 notes, I can't just use passing tones. I could do something like this, like that, and that would get me there. That's a possibility, and I could try that out. You should always just try out different combinations. If you can play the piano, this can be very helpful. You just try out one passage, and once you get one passage, then you cut and paste and transpose, and then you have the whole thing. But I did try this out, and I decided, well, this one I don't want so much, so let me try this instead. What I could do is just pass. So I have an upper neighbor and then a passing tone. I just want passing tones. So I get these 2 passing tones. These are consecutive passing tones. And you say, well, wait a second, they don't, well, I'll just leave them there. But, this is you're supposed to get into it and then out of it. And what are you doing here? I mean, you're not getting out of it before you get back into a new passing tone. This is true, but this happens, just so that you know. This is fairly common, and it's inevitable in certain situations, especially scale-like passages like this, linear passages. So we have these 2 passing tones. We've got this figure here, passing tone there. Let's apply this whole thing like that. And what I want to do is I want to put in the Roman numeral analysis so that you can see that. So we have the 1 chord, right? And then what we get is the 5 in first inversion. Whoops. 5 in first inversion. And then the 6th chord and the 5th above that, which is the 3 in first inversion. Then the 4 chord, and the 5th above that, which is the 1 in first inversion. Okay, so let me play this through so you can hear how it sounds. Let's see make sure it sounds nice. Yeah, it sounds okay. And one of the nice things about getting to the G here, to the D here, is that it's in thirds with this one, and then we have this outward motion. It's actually quite a nice thing. You know what you would have had otherwise. Let me go back and do this. You get this augmented fifth. Sorry, this diminished fifth. Augmented fifth. Diminished fifth that goes to a perfect fifth, and that's actually really bad voice leading, right? We know that when we do voice leading, we want to avoid, you know, these are like the tendency tones, right? And if we have this augmented, this diminished fifth, we'd want them to, you know, go in opposite directions. We also know that we want to avoid parallel fifths, and this isn't quite a parallel. This isn't a parallel fifth, but it would be in another situation, like if we got here and we had this D. If we kept the pattern, we'd have a D here, going here. We'd have parallel fifths right there. So we have to be very careful when we do this kind of stuff. So our pattern should be, when we, you know, this is a good example of where, you know, here you don't have any voice leading problems, but the minute you start applying a pattern, then voice leading problems can, you know, rear their ugly heads. And we need to be very conscientious about voice leading issues that arise once we start applying patterns to these homorhythmic textures. Okay, so we have that. Good. Now this is all fine, but the problem is this. This is all sequential in progression, right? This is the descending 5/6 sequential progression. But when we get here, as you can see here, we go 4 root position, 5 root position, and 1. This is giving us a cadence. So we can't do exactly, we can't continue the pattern in exactly the same way. And, well, let's see what we can continue. Well, we can continue this kind of third thing. I call it the third thing, but yeah, let me be clearer. So that's completely possible. And I want to get, and again, then I get here, and I know I want to get to this. So then that thing that I was just doing here, that might make a lot of sense. Maybe that will work out. We'll see. We'll leave it there for now. We need this. Whoop. Okay. Just do that. So we need this. And we'll need that. And so now we've got to figure out what to do here. Now, okay, so there is an issue because we want to get, we've got the root, the third, and we need, well, going to the root down here would be kind of silly. It would be kind of nice to have that fifth. But we can't get that fifth if we keep this pattern the same. Okay? So I'm going to, this is a good opportunity to say, well, okay, maybe we change this pattern. So, well, what could it be? Well, I kind of want to land on that note, right? So how do I get there? Well, maybe I could try a couple different things, but what I tried earlier, before I started the video, was this. I think this kind of works. This kind of gives us, we leap, this is an appoggiatura, and the passing tone. I'll fill in the rest of these. Neighbor. Passing tone. See, now we have some nice variety of non-chord tones. Mostly we had passing tones, but now we've got this appoggiatura, and we'll add an upper neighbor. Okay, so we get this appoggiatura, and again, just try this out. You know, you just kind of figure out how you're going to get from here to here. What are the various options? And make sure you're using non-chord tones that you can describe, right? So here we have a leap and a step out of it. Notice I didn't do something like this. Then I wouldn't be able to explain it, right? I get a leap and a leap. Oh, that's not a non-chord tone as far as a classical composer would be concerned. So leap in, step out. We have an appoggiatura. We have a chord tone here, step through it in the same direction. We get a passing tone. Good, so we've got that. And then I'm going to do something very simple here. Just use that. Whoops. Don't want that. Want that. And there are no problems. I want to check the voice leading between this C and this A, C and A, going down to B and G. It's a sixth to a sixth, so no voice leading problems. We get contrary motion in this direction. There won't be any voice leading problems there. And we have the tendency tones here resolving inward, so that's fine. This leaps up, so we're all good. It should be fine. Let's take a listen to it. And there you have it.